and welcome to Celebrating Excellence, the video series that highlights the contribution of St. Lucia's Nobel laureates, as well as that of other St. Lucians who are themselves either already accomplished in their field or aspiring to do so. The 2025 Nobel Laureate Festival theme is Celebrating Excellence, acclaiming our trailblazers, inspiring our nation. This is the studio of world-renowned visual artist, St. Lucia's Llewellyn Xavier, who was awarded an OBE in 2004 in recognition of his contribution in the field of art on the national and international stage. He speaks to us about Sir Derek Walcott's work and that of other St. Lucian artists.
I normally would not know someone as illustrious as Derek Walcott. I'm not being falsely modest or any such thing. I mean, remember that Derek is unquestionably one of the greatest literary genius of our time, and if not of all times. And so I got to know him before he got the Nobel laureate. I can't remember how I met him, but it could have been through the theatre, because I'm not a thespian. I'm not interested in acting. A lot of people think I'm very gregarious, but I'm paralytically shy, actually. Anyway, I met him with my wife, and we got to know him quite well. He came here quite a lot. In fact, we lived at Fiji while we were building this house, and he visited us there as well. And then he won the Nobel Prize, and at that time I sort of, I really do mean this, I honestly would not know Derek Walcott if Derek wasn't a St. Lucian, because I don't hang out with Nobel laureates. I really don't. I mean, his literature is above my pay grade. I read it, and I do understand it. I appreciate it rather than understanding it. But in terms of his art, well, two things. First of all, when he won the Nobel Prize, the BBC did a documentary on him, and it was done here in the studio, because he didn't have a house that was his own at that time. But further, we did an exhibition of his work, of his watercolors, and which is what I would prefer to talk about. I mean, I think he's a brilliant watercolorist. He's got a phenomenal sense of color. Unlike me, who tends to be very loud and you know, bright and brash, he is the exact opposite. His watercolors tend to reflect his literary work, very, very gentle, very lyrical, if you will. And so we had this exhibition here. It consisted of his work. I gave him one of the studios, one of the little galleries, I think the one that we now use as a breakfast room. And this room here where we are at the moment was, in fact, at the time, I showed my work in it rather than using it as a painting studio. And I use another space for painting. And we did this exhibition. It was very successful. I think most of them were sold. I remember him telling me, this is the first time I've ever sold my work in St. Lucia. But coming back to his paintings, I'm not very familiar with his oil paintings at all, but I can speak quite authoritatively on his watercolors. They really are brilliant by any standard. And I often wonder why he did not pursue a career in... He was very modest about it. He was very modest about his paintings, about his watercolors. That was surprising, because he certainly knew his worth, as it were, as a literary genius. But his watercolors he sort of kept in the background. And of course, Derek had other interests. Remember that he was very much into the theatre and in production and in directing and various aspects of theatre. And I do not know, and I'm asking a question here, I want to know, is Derek Walcott's work taught in the schools in St. Lucia? And if it isn't, it's a crying shame. And I'm not ascribing blame to any particular group or administration. I hope that every child in St. Lucia gets to know about the illustrious Derek Walcott. He really is one of the greatest people that this island has produced. I mean, he's no mean feat for somebody coming from an island this size to be such a great poet and to be recognized as at the highest level. And his watercolors, his painting is just as important, because you cannot separate the one from the other. I mean, this is the full man. This is Derek Walcott as poet, writer, essayist, painter. And I believe that it should be compulsory. It really should be. He should be taught in every single school on this island, and every child in St. Lucia should know who Derek Walcott is. There's absolutely no question about that.
It's the 32nd year of celebrating St. Lucia's Nobel laureates. We are excited to bring you events ranging from community painting, drama, book fairs, awards, and of course, the annual Nobel Laureate Memorial Lectures. Visit the Facebook page at Nobel Laureate Festival St. Lucia to follow events. I'm Delia Delore. Goodbye.